This is the current state that we are in right now. We have our responsive layout. I already noticed a small bug here. I have to fix this first. Depending on the width, there's a small moment where the whole switch doesn't work. The second one is the height of these containers. It's shouldn't take so much space if they're empty. This should be the content of my prototypes folder. And after that, fix some navigation so we can choose and select the folders and do something. We have fixed the bug. Was W bigger equal 100? It has to be W bigger 100. And then we don't have the bug anymore. Learned something new about the inner workings. This is basically just a syntax thing. If we are returning those two values either ways, we have defined it here. So there is no need to put it in the return statement here. We go smaller than this, then we don't set the height anymore of the respective containers. That's why they both fit on one screen, which is exactly what we wanted. So there should be a better way to do this. We can set like so. If this set age is true, which is our set height boolean, we have our responsiveness, and when we go back here, you see that the height switches as it should, and the way it works is get panel width height function, which calculates the panel width panel height values and a set height boolean. If this set height boolean is true, which is returned from this function, then we set those values. Okay, I'm kind of misunderstanding something because I want to load the prototypes. I actually just copied the whole load projects to a new file called load prototypes and just change the naming to load prototypes, of course, and change the point path. I think I'm misunderstanding this part because it's showing me that there are no prototypes found. All right, I figured it out. Init has to return a T command. Before, we didn't have this batch function here. What we had before is actually quite simple. We just had returning this one because this returns a T command. But we need two of those. We need to initialize the project and we need to reinitialize the prototypes directory on initial load. So we can use the tbatch functionality because the tbatch just returns also one single T command. And now we have our prototype directories and we have our project directories shown the way we wanted. Okay, this is very important that you question the AI, especially while learning, because it makes sometimes way too complicated decisions. It told me to keep in memory the selected path and do another one, which is active pane. The moment I said here, why don't we derive the path from the active panel at the end when we press enter, it said right away, yes, exactly, that's a solid approach. So I again resetted my whole thinking because the AI is jumping way too far forward. So we went back, and this is what I want to finish up for today. We will go and just simply create the selection of those two panes. So I will be able to go with H and L and jump between the projects and the prototypes pane. When projects pane is selected, in the header, instead of this some nice header text should be projects. When I have prototypes selected, instead of this text there should be prototypes. And the border color should change of the selected pane. So very simple stuff. Before jumping into lists, list selections and this kind of things, I want to fix this thing for this time and move the other goal to the next session. We have done it. So now we can switch between projects and prototypes with a button press. That is nice. Also, we are passing to the header the name of whatever is selected. We have our model, which is just controlling the active pane. We didn't change anything else in the model. We have created two panes, just strings that are set to projects and prototypes, which we will be using later. Here we have a small function that is basically just setting the pane to the other pane, just basically a toggle. Why we have done this is to just set here our key bindings. So the active pane is set to always the other pane, and we redraw the content. And that's basically it. In our panels, we have added, if the active panel is prototypes, we draw the color to active color, which I also added. The same thing is true for the other panels. And that's basically it. We are setting in the update function the default value. We have to set the value in our update function here. If we don't do this, we start with a blank empty pane, which we don't want. We want to have always set at least pane projects as the starting point. Next week, I am going to follow this one up with selecting the directories and stuff. Thank you very much. Bye bye.